After a long, exhausting 14-hour drive from Bushehr to Bandar Abbas, we didn't even stop at the hotel. We went straight to Minab. On the way, we stopped at a local radio station that had been completely annihilated in a bombing.
Okay guys, it is Saturday and we are somewhere between Bandar Abbas and Minab. We just arrived to a location that used to be a radio transmitter, and you can see it was hit. And as a result of this attack, which was carried out some 4 days ago by 2 explosions, one person was killed and the other one was injured. And as the person told me, one of the locals, after the first explosion there was a chance to rescue that person, but the second explosion made it very hard and they couldn't rescue that person. And in the right side also you can see some residential buildings of people who were living here and who were trying to protect that person. So it was a kind of office, administrative office, and this was their house. And there is a car right behind me. I don't know whose car it is, but it has also been heavily impacted. And I can see the transmitter itself, that it has also been destroyed. And in the surrounding area, there is, I can see just trees, farm, and houses. I do not see any building here, anything here that we can say that maybe it was a legitimate target. No, it was not. Just found one of the shrapnels. One of the shrapnels of that explosion, it is really heavy.
While we were there, a drone dropped a bomb nearby.
Abbas, did you hear the explosion?
Yeah.
They're
I know. Dimitri, you're not running fast enough for a guy who just heard an explosion.
Habibi, run!
It's a house, I see it. Thank you.
No, you have to come.
Thank
Habibi,
you, I
come
see
to the
it.
house.
1 second he says run, the next second he says stay. Make up your mind, brother. Huh. Yeah, oh, wow. Look at that shrapnel. That'll tear you up. That's why I'm running. At this point, I started to freak out a little bit. As I explained in my previous video, the day before in Bushehr, all of the places we had visited were bombed a few hours after we left. But now they bombed a place that we were currently at. So at this point, it stopped feeling like a coincidence, but we kept moving anyway toward Minab. Now Minab is a small town just east of Bandar Abbas along the southern coast near the Strait of Hormuz. It's a small town, quiet, tight-knit, the kind of place where most people know each other. And that's what makes what happened here hit differently. Because when the US struck a school in Minab, it didn't just hit a building, it hit a community. At first, the US denied responsibility, but later, investigations by the BBC and the New York Times confirmed that US Tomahawk missiles had in fact struck the school. 168 people were killed, most of them little children. And because this is a small town, the lines between school and home don't really exist. You see, many of the teachers and staff at this school were also parents of the children who attended. So entire families were wiped out or devastated in a single moment. And we met some of these grieving families, including this man, a father of twin boys who lost his wife in the strike.
And these two are the sons of Anise.
Are they twins?
دوقلو هن؟
بله.
Yes.
What are their names?
اسمشون چیه؟
اسمشون که مجیبه
مجیب.
و مجیر.
مجیر. They want their mother every day at before they go to sleep, and they say, "Where is our mother?" Tell them that your mother is now in the heaven, in the sky.
انشالله که این جنایت و همه دنیا متوجه بشن.
And we hope that this massacre and this war crime, all people in the world can understand what was happening here.
و بدونن که مادرای بیگناهی و بچهای بیگناهی رو که تو مدرسه بودن واقعا جنایت خیلی بزرگی بود.
I hope they can understand it was a really big war crime that they kill innocent teachers and school children in Minab.
و انشالله که تقاصشون رو پس بدن.
I hope they pay the price for their war crime.
و خونشون پایمال نشه انشالله.
I hope they pay the price for the blood that they shed in Minab.
که این دو تا طفل و بی مادر تو این
That they left these two innocent children
Send
without their
camp.
mother in these younger ages.
که الان به مادرشون احتیاج
That they
دارن
need their mother now.
نیست مادرشون.
There is no mother. They do not have their mother.
We went to the local cemetery where new graves were still being dug for the children. We spoke with more families here, people who are completely shattered by what they have lost.
دانش آموز کلاس دوم.
Sister, I'm Habib Kurdi Najad, the mother of the Amir Mohammadi, the student of grade 2 of the school.
How did she find out that he died?
چجوری متوجه شدید که پسرتون شهید شده؟
ما که از هیچی خبر نداشتیم. ساعت 11 و 8 دقیقه از مدرسهشون با ما تماس
We
گرفتن.
didn't know anything. At the 10 past 8 in AM, they called us to know about the news.
ساعت 11 و 8 دقیقه معلمشون تماس
11
گرفت.
and 8 minutes, his teacher phoned us.
گفت که مدرسهشون تعطیله، بیای بچه‌ها رو تحویل بگیریم. ما هم زنگ زدیم باباشون بره تحویل بگیره. باباشون 11 و 20 دقیقه میگه رسیدن پشت در، دیگه فرصت نشد، انفجار شد.
So the teacher phoned us at 8 minutes after 11 in the AM. The school is closed and you have to come and deliver your child. I phoned his dad, but when his dad reached to the school, unfortunately, it was closed and we didn't receive anything.
Did she hear the explosion?
صدای انفجار هم شنیده بودید؟
بله صدای انفجار خیلی شدید بود، خیلی شدید.
Yes, I heard it was very powerful.
Did she think they attacked the school or anything like that?
فکر می‌کردید که به مدرسه حمله شده یا
نه اصلا هیچی اطلاعی کسی نداشت. ما نمیفهمیده. بعد دیگه خبرها به گوش رسید که مدرسه رو زدن، انفجار شده.
I didn't think also and I didn't know about this, but after that we found that they targeted the school.
How old was her son and what grade was he in?
پسرتون چند سالش بود و کلاس چندم؟
7 سال و 6 ماه کلاس دوم.
It's close to 8 years and it was grade 2.
Does he have any brothers or sisters?
برادر خواهر دیگه هم داره؟
بله 2 تا برادر، یه خواهر.
She has 2 other son and 1 daughter.
And how are they reacting to his death?
برخورد اونا چجوری بوده؟
چی؟ همشون ناراحتن، همشون افسردن، همشون داغ دارن. دیگه چی میشه کرد؟ قسمته.
All of us are sad and depressed and they are mourning every day.
Do they have any message that they want to tell the American people?
میگه آیا پیامی دارید که بخواید به مردم آمریکا بگید، به کشور دولت آمریکا بگید و مردم آمریکا؟ Government or the people? Government or the people?
Well, whatever they like.
به آمریکا یا پیامی بدید.
به چه حقی مدرسه یا دبستان بچه‌هایی که کودک هستن به چه حقی این مدرسه رو مورد هدف قرار دادیم؟ آیا واقعاً اللحاظ سازمان ملل قابل قبول هست؟
Based on which right you did target this school? Do you think that under the rules and regulation of UN this is acceptable to target the school?
و اینها بچهای کوچیک بودن، هیچ گناهی نداشتن، پاک بودن، معصوم بودن.
They were innocent children. They were very little. There were nothing with them.
I'm sorry for their loss. Allah yarhamhum.
میگه من خیلی متاسف و ناراحتم برای اتفاقی که برای شما افتاده. ان شاء خدا کمکتون کنه.
خیلی ممنونم و امیدوارم که تمام رسانه ها به گوش اونها برسونین که همه بدونن این کودک کشان، این جنایتکاران آمریکا و اسرائیل اومدن یک مدرسه ابتدایی که بچهای کوچیکی هستن اومدن مورد ضربه قرار دادن.
Say thank you very much and I hope you clearly send my voice to the world that this regime with accompanied with the US came and did this crime to kill innocent people in the children, innocent student in the children, in the school, sorry.
Afterwards, we went to see the school itself, or what's left of it at least. This is the most emotional site I visited in the entire country. The bombing of this school on the opening day of the war has become something bigger than just an attack. Across Iran, you see the faces of these little girls everywhere, on posters, on walls, in the rallies. These children have become a rallying cry for the nation. But it's also something else. The bombing of the school in Manab is a symbol for the criminality of this war of unjust aggression by the US and Israel. Because Iran was in negotiations with the US to avoid this war. Not once, but twice. And both times, those negotiations were interrupted by US and Israeli strikes, assassinations, the killing of government officials, and thousands of innocent civilians. During this time as well, there were efforts to destabilize the country from within, with the US and Israel arming protesters and paying them money to carry out killings of police officers and innocent civilians. They instigated unrest, targeted the currency, and escalated economic pressure, all while publicly claiming that peace was their desire. And it all led to this moment, the bombing of this school in Manab, a place filled with children. The aftermath was something from a horror film. We all saw what the bombs did to babies in Gaza. It was the same here, and it was as horrific as you can imagine. This man came here to observe the school with his 2 sons. He was there on the day of the bombing and rushed to the scene to help people out. Even now, he can barely speak about what he saw without breaking down.
و بچه‌ها رو می‌آوردن بیرون. واقعا یه وضعی بود. بچه سالم نمی اومد بیرون، یا دست نداشت یا پا نداشت. واقعا وضع عجیبی بود. دیگه نمیتونم چیزی بگم. واقعا خیلی بد بود. در خدمتتون هستم. با اجازه.
He said they couldn't find children here completely. Some they didn't have heads, some didn't have hands and feet. Mostly it is being discussed that this was a school for girls, but it was both for girls and boys. And boys unfortunately have not been much discussed. The first floor was for girls and the second one for boys. They had 2 separate yards. This one for girls and the other one in the back for boys. Minutes ago I went inside this school, although it is risky and at any moment it may fall down, but it was very sad. And I saw a whiteboard right in front of that class that it was written that your blood will not remain, we will revenge the blood of you. It was written on the whiteboard.
You could feel this pain from everyone, the people being interviewed and even the people asking the questions. They were all reliving this moment of shock, of horror, the loss of innocent children. I'm just going to play this next part for you and let you experience it as I did.
دست بینا بزن چه سنگینه دست بزنیم حالا کلی آوار افتاده بود رو بچه های ما بکی بگی خدا ولی ایستاده ایم داغ داریم ولی ایستاده ایم تا انتقام هم نگیریم آروم نمیشه انشاءالله دستمون در نکنه روایتگری میکنیم لباس سخت بکنم این چمنشون بیرون ورده دستتون در نکنه.
Since the war began, the US and Israel have dropped at least 20,000 bombs across Iran, targeting all kinds of sites. In previous videos, I've shown you how these strikes have hit parks, pharmacies, waste management facilities, hospitals, even sports complexes, all with the intent of breaking society from within. But of all the strikes since the start of this war, what happened in Manab stands out as the most tragic, the most horrific, and the most criminal. It means so much to the people of Iran now that this woman and her daughter traveled from the other side of the country to visit the site and pay their respects for the victims here.
She said that to pay respect to the martyrs and say condolences to their parents, and they are so sorry to hear what happened here. And she said that I every day pray our enemies get destroyed.
Well, it seems to me this was a deliberate attack because the US intelligence is very good. We know they can target individuals in their own house. It would have been very obvious from satellite surveillance this was a school. There was nothing military in the vicinity. And since then, the last 4 weeks, there's been a consistent pattern of attacks on civilian sites. So they've been trying to terrorise the population, and this seems to be in the first step.
We left the school to grab lunch before heading back to Bandar Abbas, and that's when we got this news. Israel had just killed 2 journalists in Lebanon, a double tap strike. Ali Shoaib of El Manar and Fatima Fatouni of El Mayadeen, along with her brother Muhammad, were killed while covering the Israeli invasion of southern Lebanon.
I know Ali Shoaib. I think it was the day that our president, late President Raisi, was martyred. Ali was in Iran. I talked to him. He came to Iran. It was a Soap festival, and at that time I was working in Tehran Times Daily, and I asked him a question about the crimes that the Israeli regime is carrying out. He was really brave. He was really brave, Ahmad, and he was resistant. And this was the first time that I was talking to him in person. And I understood why that guy is that much brave, and he was preparing reports from the front. And he, Ahmad, has a very, very, very famous photo that he has kept his photo right in front of the Israeli soldier who has been targeting him and pointing his gun at him. The Israeli soldier with a gun and Ali with his camera. This was a symbolic photo for me that shows how journalism can stand right to counter the crimes of the Israeli regime. And just now I understood Richard posted something on Twitter, and I understood Ali has been martyred.
And just 10 days earlier, there had been another incident. Steve Sweeney, a correspondent for RT, was nearly killed by a precision artillery strike on his position that had just barely missed him by a few meters, miraculously landing in a hole that captured most of the shrapnel that would have shredded his body to pieces.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted. Fucking hell. Fuck.
And it was exactly at this moment of learning of the killing of these journalists in Lebanon that we were rushed out of the restaurant and back onto our bus. We were told that just minutes after we had left the Minab school, Israel bombed it again. Cell phone footage showed a drone flying over the area immediately after the strike. And it was at this point that we were convinced. The hospital, the dock, the weather station, the area right in front of our hotel in Bushehr the day before, the radio station we were just at, none of this felt like a coincidence anymore. It felt like a message.
So now we've abandoned our phones, we've abandoned our belongings, and we are going to try to get home in different vehicles because we don't know if our lives are in danger right now. Are we being targeted? They just killed 2 journalists in Lebanon. Is it a coincidence? Are they targeting us? We just don't know. Yesterday was weird. I thought for sure like something's up. Now I can't confirm it, but definitely I feel like my life is in danger right now.
What followed was one of the most nerve-wracking drives of my entire life. We had to get back to our hotel about an hour and a half away. So we split into separate cars, we ditched our cameras and our phones, any electronics we had, and we got driving. Dimitri, Tim Anderson, and I got into a car with a random driver, someone I had never met before who didn't even speak English. Before I came to Iran, as I said earlier, I wrote my will. I understood that I could die, but that doesn't mean you're ready for it when the moment feels real. So I was wired, more alert than I've ever been in my entire life. All throughout the drive, I was scanning the sky, just looking for drones or jets, even though realistically, there was really nothing I could do if a missile were to be dropped on us. I guess part of me just wanted to see it coming. All the while, I was praying, thinking about my family. That drive, I swear to God, felt endless. At some point, I looked over at Dimitri and Tim on my side and noticed that they were calm. That's because they've been in war zones before. This wasn't new to them. They advised me to just relax and accept that this could be my final moment, which strangely helped. because they were right. What was I gonna do, really? When I die, I die. And what better way to go out than this? I came to Iran to document the war, to show my solidarity with the people, and to expose the Zionists. And at that point, I had no control over anything. The sun was setting, the mountains were beautiful, so I just sat back for the rest of the ride and took it all in. Thankfully, however, we did make it back. No strike, nothing happened. And to be completely honest with you, I still don't know if we were even being targeted. It could have all been a coincidence. But you can understand why I was paranoid. When we got back to the hotel, the first thing we did was eat. And that was one of the best meals of my entire life. So, Dimitri, we just had quite the drive. How do you feel?
No, I'm vegetarian.
Hungry. Just want to eat, man. And I want my devices back so I can do something with that tremendous material we got. It's quite a day.
Yeah. But this one has...
Well, you're a lot more chill about it than I am. The next day, we got to explore Bandar Abbas and really understand its importance, not just to Iran, but to the entire world. You see, Bandar Abbas is a major coastal port city that sits along a natural bay formed by a chain of islands like Qashm Island and Larak Island, all positioned within the critically important Strait of Hormuz. This waterway has effectively become a choke point, a clogged artery. The flow of Gulf oil and gas has slowed to a crawl, with only limited ships passing through, often under very strict oversight from the IRGC Navy. That pressure has sent energy prices skyrocketing, putting massive economic and political strain on the US and its Gulf allies who rely heavily on the uninterrupted flow of energy through this strait. You see, in this war, everything comes down to the Strait of Hormuz. Not how many buildings are destroyed, not how many people are killed or pilots or soldiers are captured, but control over this waterway. That is the real battlefield. And Iran understood this many decades ago. That's why they built their entire strategy around it and their ability to control the strait and to threaten and harass the US bases and energy infrastructure all across the region. They understood that the strait was a pressure point, and right now Iran has its thumb firmly pressed on it. The strategy has been so effective that experts like Robert Pape and John Mearsheimer have pointed to Iran's approach as being nearly flawless in shaping the balance of power moving forward in this war. Because control of the strait doesn't just impact the region, it impacts the global economy. That is how important the Strait of Hormuz is. And I got to be one of, if not the only American to sail through it since the war began.
You can go, you can't go, you can go, you can't go. Pay up, buddy, pay up. What's that? Oh, the money didn't go through? You gotta wait.
Now we are in the Strait of Hormuz in southern Iran. And we are just, I can say, maybe 1 kilometer away from the port in southern Iran, Strait of Hormuz. It has some 30 kilometers wide, but the shipping lane is so narrow, so you can just only use 3 kilometers for shipping lanes, one closer to the Iranian border and the other one close to Oman. 20% of the world's oil consumption is narrowly using this key waterway to pass, and the large portion of LNG, mostly produced by Qatar, also uses these key waterway to pass, so it affects to a large amount the world economy. This key waterway is open to Iranian allies and to all those countries that they have not participated on US-Israeli aggression on Iran. But absolutely, this key waterway is closed to those neighboring countries and to some states that they have let US and Israeli regimes use the soil of those countries to target their attacks on the Iranian nation.
Dimitri, this ship hasn't paid yet, so they gotta wait. This one, I just received a text that they transferred 200 billion yuan. So we're gonna let them go through. How much is 200? I have no idea. Come on, dude. It's plenty. It's enough. Yeah, that's true. That one's Hormuz. That's Hormuz? That's Hormuz Island. Over there. So which one is that? Pesh. This is the path to go through. Wow, I don't know if you can see it or not, but look at the mountains behind the city. That's beautiful.
Afterwards, we met with the governor of the Bandar Abbas region. And of course, he was late. Like every Iranian I've met in the country, about an hour late. So I used that time to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Riding the motorcycle on the beach, of course, produced wind that destroyed my hair, which is unfortunate because I looked absolutely foolish in this clip that ended up going viral, where I asked the governor an important question.
You prepared for آیا شما آماده‌اید که یه چیز شدید آیا برای خدای نکرده برای تاکتیکی که اونها مثلا یه سلاح هسته استفاده کنن شما آمادگی دارید؟ Our planning was comprehensive preparation for this war. If they want to, if they want to black fame themselves once again in the world, Bismillah. Let's start. This is the end of war.
Hopefully it doesn't reach that point.
امیدوارم اصلا به اونجا نکشه کار. We hope so. There might be some surprises for them.
This video went viral for a reason, because the governor's response was very interesting. He told us very clearly that Iran is prepared for every scenario, including a nuclear strike, and that they're not concerned about a potential nuclear strike by Israel, which implies something very important. Either Iran is completely irrational, or they have a level of deterrence that gives them that confidence, aka a nuclear weapon. Now, based on everything we've seen, Iran has not acted irrationally. In fact, they're probably the only party in this conflict acting rationally, measured, escalating in response to escalation, and doing so with a level of confidence that suggests that they're not afraid of the US or Israel's capabilities, which tells you they probably already made the bomb, or at least have the ability to make it in a short amount of time. That night, we visited the home of the man who had been killed at the radio station. His wife, his son, his daughter, they could barely speak to us. It was only his father who addressed us. He expressed pride in the martyrdom of his son. Now, in this house, there were no screams, there was no crying, there was no wailing, but the silence in that home, especially from his daughter, said more than anything I had seen on this trip. Bandar Abbas was the final stop on our press tour. This trip was intense, emotional, insightful. I am very grateful that I took the risk to come here during the war. I made friends for life, and I leave more convinced than ever before that regional unity, real unity, is not only possible, but necessary. And what's happening right now may be the beginning of something so much bigger. As always, if you want to watch our interviews in their entirety, you can do so on Reason to Resist with journalist Dimitri Lascaris, who joined me on this journey. If you'd like to support my work, you can do so by becoming a member of this channel or by contributing at propandco.com/donate. The links are pinned in the comment section. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves.
Trust nothing.